Elicia Berger!
Oh God, I'm having so much fun, I almost forgot I had to tell the story. It's great to see all you guys. So this happened a few years back. I just moved into a new apartment in a whole new neighborhood. And it was what New Yorkers like to call up and coming, you know, the up and coming neighborhood. So needless to say, it was sketchy. And so I felt, you know, kind of like vulnerable. It wasn't my turf, you know, I'm still getting used to the place. And so it was very timely when a friend of mine said, hey, you know, like I've heard this place is every month they do these free self-defense courses, particularly for women. So I was like, you know what? I think that's a great idea. I'd actually kind of been wanting to do something like that for a while, and it was a good, you know, not that you need an excuse, but it was a good excuse. The only thing was we wanted to do it together, you know, like woman power. And she was busy, and I was when I wasn't, and I was busy when she wasn't. And so I just decided to go, you know, do a little email list and ask some of my friends if they wanted to come, because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to do this. And so nobody wrote back to me. Thanks, guys. And it was like, you know, a few days before the class, and I was like, I'd really like to, you know, share this with someone. I feel like it's going to be like a really intense, powerful experience. So, so I asked my mom, who lives in town, and she replied back like right away, and she was like, great, Elicia, I would love to do this. It'll be like Mother-Daughter Day again, like when you were little. And I was like, okay, I don't remember that, you know, me and Mom went out into the streets of like suburban Connecticut fighting rapists, but okay, you know, like Mother-Daughter Day. So we did it. It was in you know, downtown Manhattan in a jiu-jitsu studio, and I went there and checked in. And a couple of minutes later, my mom shows up, and she is like in her like full like Talbot's outfit with like, you know, the BlackBerry clipped to her waist and like wearing loafers. And I'm like, Mom, the email sent to her gym clothes. You know? She was like, Elicia. And she had a very good point here. She was like, Elicia, the bad guys are not going to wait until you're wearing your gym clothes. So we go in, you know, there's probably about 15 people in the class, and there's an instructor in the front, and there are various, you know, kind of co-instructor helpers along the sides. And first we start out with some kind of like empowering, you know, conversation and talk, and then we start like we line up in a row, and we all like, you know, are shouting no, no, like, you know, getting into it, and the instructor's like, okay, like what are some things that you know, you might yell at someone, like if you want to like, you know, get them out of your way, like you feel like, you know, they're becoming aggressive. And so like we're shouting like, you know, like get out of my face, like I don't want any trouble. And like woman's like, you know, like back off or I'll kick you in the penis, you know, like yeah, like, get away. And so the next thing we do is you know, we move into floor exercises. So we're actually gonna, you know, have partners and do some of this stuff and like really feel, you know, it's kind of all about muscle memory when you do these things. And so this is just our first experience with it, and we're gonna get comfortable with, you know, with this stuff. So we get assigned a partner, and my partner's is a very, I want to say studious looking, very, you know, studious looking woman. Kind of default point of focus is the floor, and you know, it's awkward. Like the only thing we get to do is like say hello to each other, and then like all of a sudden we're like on each other, you know. And so probably not unlike some dates some of you guys have had. And so like we are, you know, looking at what we're supposed to be doing. The instructors are showing us, and then like basically we're down on the floor, and it's this, kind of try to describe it to you. It's where you would be in one of the most, you know, uncompromised positions where you were compromised, where you're laid flat on the ground and someone's on top of you. So very, you know, bad spot. So basically, you know, what they're teaching us to do is that you would link your ankle around the person's ankle to kind of throw them off base, and then you would actually thrust your hips upward to get them off of you, like to like throw them off of you. So we're doing this on the ground. It's very awkward. It's like, it's like we're like playing doctor or something, but like, I'm like, am I doing it right? And she's like, are you doing it right? Am I hurting you? Like, I don't know. And so we start looking around and we're like, I don't know, what are we doing? And I see my mom across the room with like this big, massive, jiu-jitsu guy, and like, she's being like thrown off of them, like like a kid on a trampoline, like poo, and like I'm just like, what is going on? And like just the fact that like she seems like just even a little bit into it, like I'm just like, ah! And so all of a sudden, like before I know it, there's this one of the co-instructors in front of us, and he was like, okay, no, you're not doing it right, and she was she was saying, okay, can you show us? And he had her get up, down on the ground, and then literally like placed me on top of her, and he was like, okay, let your limbs go limp and all this stuff, and he was like, it's kind of hard to do the first time, like you really gotta practice it and get used to it, you need to get comfortable with it. And so she ends up getting it, like she ends up really getting it, and she's like a bucking bronco, and I'm like flying off of her, and like I'm watching her, like, what is she thinking? Like, it was very awkward, and like she like, and I'm just like, okay, so she's focused on like getting me off of her, but what she doesn't know is that I'm starting to feel like a little bit funny, like in that like, I'm in elementary school and I'm climbing the rope in gym, like it's supposed to feel like good like that. So she's focused on trying to like get me off of her, and what she's really doing is like kind of getting me off. And so I'm like just I'm getting to the point of no return here, like I'm like totally mortified, like I had very good intentions, coming into this class with my mom, learning, trying to learn things that are very valuable and important. I definitely, like what I was learning was not on the curriculum, let's put it that way. So this continues, and couple more positions that they show us. There are some that we're not going to get to, so the instructors decide that they're just going to show us on their own. And the next thing I know, like I'm saying like, excuse me, hand shoots up. I don't really understand, like, why is it that that would make him fall? Like, what are the physics to it? Like, I get it. And like, not realizing until it came out of my mouth, like what my like tactic was, but like I was trying to get them to do it again. and so like as if on cue, the main instructor was like, oh, would you like us to do it again? And I was like, yes, please, And so I was, standing there like, I was like feeling like a porn director, being like, oh, could you do it just one more time? We'll do one more take, And I was very pleased with myself. Come the end of the day, my mom and I are walking out together, and she said, that was really good. Like, I really learned a lot. And I was, just thinking like, okay, I just gave in to the fact that I was totally distracted. I really didn't learn what I was supposed to be learning. Obviously, and she said, I feel like, it had been a while since I wanted to brush up on that. Like she was talking about a piano lesson, or like a dance, like salsa or something. Like she wanted to brush up on it, and she was like, there were so many positions though, and I was like, yeah, no kidding, and she said to me, do you think do you want to come over to the apartment tomorrow and we can practice? I was like, like in my mind, I was picturing like me like straddling my mom on the living room floor. And she was like, furthermore, she was like, we can even take up the video camera and then we can watch it over and over and over again. And I said to her, no, absolutely not. Thanks.